Okay, we will discuss about plant invasive here. Plant invasive, weed invasive, invasive. So this term is always this term invasive will always be associated with weed. And why? Take some time to read and understand the fundamental concepts and the objectives of this part of the lecture. What is an invasive plant? An invasive plant has the ability to thrive and spread aggressively outside its natural range. A natural aggressive plant may be especially invasive when it is introduced to a new habitat. An invasive species that colonizes a new area may gain an ecological edge since the insects, diseases, and foraging animals that naturally keep its growth in check in its native range are not present in its new habitat. Some invasive plants are worse than others. Many invasive plants continue to be admired by gardeners who may not be aware of their weedy nature. Others are recognized as weeds, but property owners fail to do their part in preventing their spread. Some do not even become invasive until they are neglected for a long time. Invasive plants are not all equally invasive. Some only colonize small areas and do not do so aggressively. Others may spread and become to dominate large areas in just a few years. Below are some categories to illustrate degrees of invasiveness. So where are they a problem? Invasive plants disrupt many natural habitats. They are most threatening in ecosystems such as wetlands and sand dunes, fire-prone areas, and serpentine barrens where rare native plants are found. Invasive plant species thrive where the continuity of a natural ecosystem is breached and are abundant in disturbed sites like construction areas and road cuts. Even foot traffic can create a temporary void that is quickly invaded. Some national parks have restricted the areas where visitors are allowed to walk with the warning. And again, why this weed invasive? Why the invasive weed a problem? Why are they a problem? Actually, it's a matter of ecology. In many cases, plants from other parts of the world are welcomed, manageable additions to our gardens. However, in some situations, these non-native species cause a serious ecological disturbance. In the worst cases, invasive plant like Parthenium hysteroporus. Okay, Parthenium hysteroporus. This is invasive weed. This is non-native species that invade in Malaysian perspective. Echinocloa. This is very highly invasive in rice production, and other this is Echinocloa aggregates. Aggregates is not a species name. Aggregates is just family of Echinocloa, a group of Echinocloa. Another species like Mycena micrantha, Alternanthera philoxeroides. Okay, they ruthlessly choke other plant life. This puts extreme pressure on native plants and animals, and threatened species may succumb to this pressure. Ultimately, invasive plants alter habitats and reduce biodiversity. So they can alter habitat. Consequently, this can change biodiversity. And at some point, the change means reduce biodiversity because the invasive plant become dominant, and only this one species can be survive in this area, and then reduce another species of other plant species. Basically, where do they come from? Where these invasive plants or invasive weed came from? In some cases, invasive plants arrive purely by accident, as seen in agriculture products or on shipments from overseas. In other cases, invasive plants are selected for their horticultural attributes. Some looks very beautiful, unusual, exceptionally hardy, drought tolerant, or fast growing plants. These are sought by gardeners the world over and over. Unfortunately, plants selected for their resilience may be invasive because of their adaptable nature. Plants selected for their aesthetic value may be hard to banish from your garden even after their invasive tendencies are revealed. Okay, I will provide this paper. Let's read this paper together. This paper reviewed invasive weed species in Malaysia. Okay, I want to discuss about this during the lecture, and I hope you guys can read and try to understand this paper. Recent example of weed invasion was the emergence of Patinium hysteroporus. So the one that I mentioned before. This Patinium hysteroporus occurs in many areas across Peninsular Malaysia. In other places, it was called Santa Maria feverfew, white top weed, congress grass, or gajah. Okay, in Malaysia, this weed is called rumput miang Mexico. Okay, there was no record of this notorious weed in Malaysia until the late 2013 when it was found in Batang Kali, Selangor by a research team of the University Malaysia Kelantan. Okay, this weed is well known to have serious allergenic effect to human and animals, and at the same time, it is highly aggressive in its competition with other plants, especially crop plants. This caused concern among weed scientists, agrochemical companies, policymakers, extension workers, and farmers, leading to policy revision, formation of weeds invasive research groups beside public education and awareness programs on these alien species. So this species has already been observed or studied or become concern for the government in Malaysia. You can find more information about this weed online. I'm not suggesting that you read and you use Wikipedia as your main source, but just if you want to have an idea, you can use this Wikipedia. This is how it looks like. This is how some said this weed looks like ulam raja. Okay, one of the dishes, the vegetables that people love to Malaysian love to eat it raw. So it looks like ulam raja, but it is bigger. You can see this is how the flower looks like. They have this flower produces spores that cause allergenic to many people in Malaysia, especially those who has asthma. And the chemical compound of this leaves can also create allergenic. So if our cows or goats or our livestock try to eat this kind of leaves, they can cause allergic to them. So the white flowers contain spores that I mentioned before that can cause allergy to human and animals. So this is how they look like. Why is this weed dangerous? Because it disturbs natural ecosystem. It spread very fast in the area and stunted the growth of other vegetation nearby. It also can cause allergy, okay, to human, especially those who has asthma, as mentioned before. It also can cause allergy to the livestock who accidentally consume the plant, and this can lower the quality of milk and meat. So the meat they become thin, or sometimes the sweet can contaminate the milk that they produce. Department of Agriculture, Malaysian Department of Agriculture has released a series of statements and information about the danger of this invasive species. I'm sorry, this is in Malay, but I hope you guys understand it. This is one of the flyers, some of the flyers. Okay. Also, if you look here, this week has received serious media attention at late 2014. As portrayed in this picture, public was not aware about this weed and just let them grow. Here, this is the Platinum hysteroporus here, rumput miang Mexico. They just let them grow in their neighborhood. They just feel like, oh, what is this? They just don't care, neglect, or probably don't know about the weed itself. So these are the weed, and then I don't understand why they are taking the pictures so closely. Maybe they're not allergic to this. Okay, this has caused frantic moments in Malaysia, and a lot of cases has been reported due to the effect of this weed to public health. Okay, and of course, the government through Department of Agriculture has responded and take serious actions to fight this invasive. So these are some of the newspaper from the news clipping. Okay, series of herbicide application has been tested to effectively control this weed due to nature of this weed that resistant to many herbicides. This is one of the problem. This weed also resistant to many of herbicide available in Malaysia. So the Department of Agriculture and many researchers from public universities are doing this study to find a way to control, a way to manage chemically the weed. Basically, currently the best management practice is by manual weeding, which means that you need to take it out from the you need to take out the whole plant from the soil. Some, okay, also try to benefit from this weed. Okay, like this one in Malacca, they want to find what are the importance. What is the, if we can find something that can be used from this rumput miang Mexico. Okay, can you tell me why people want to study and try to get a benefit from this weed? Again, platinum is not a new problem. Okay, this invasiveness and the effect of this weed to human has been reported in many countries, especially in India, Bangladesh, and Australia. Here it shows the widespread of this weed in the world. The event in Malaysia, okay, if you look here, the event in Malaysia was relatively new and not even mapped in this publication. So the invasiveness of Platinum hysteroporus in Malaysia is rarely new. So the invasive nerve, the weeds from the Mexico, I think this Mexico is here. Mexico travel to here. Okay, it's basically just new event. So that's why this is a non-native, but the introduction of this weed species become very serious, and they become invasive in a short period of time, probably short period of time. You can continue to read about this if you are interested. I hope that you are. This is some of more literatures. You can look at this. You can find this on in many you can Google it and you can find this in the internet pretty easily. Okay, so this is some effect of fresh extract. They try to find the extract from the platinum to make it as a biofertilizer. So they not a green not fertilizer, a green herbicide, means that they want to use this as a, because they have the compound of allelopathic compound that can control other weeds or other vegetation. When they say, well, why not use this to control other weeds? So this is how one of the study that have been done. I hope at least you already understand the concept of invasive and why it is important, especially in weed science and management. Please read carefully the paper by Baki in 2004. Baki is my Sifu. He was my supervisor when I did my master, and let us discuss this paper in the class.